Hey mama, so you've just been cleared by your doctor to resume exercise. Now what? First, I want you to remember that you grew, carried, and birthed a human being, and your body is still very much healing. Doing too much too soon can aggravate abdominal separation or any kind of pelvic floor dysfunction. More challenging moves too soon will not make you stronger if your core is not ready for them. Things that you will want to avoid feeling would be heaviness or bulging or discomfort in your vagina area, bulging or doming or discomfort down the midline of your abs, any leaking of urine, or pain in your pelvis or low back. If you experience any of these symptoms, it's your body's way of telling you that it can't manage the intra-abdominal pressure. So you either need to slow things down, focus on your breath, or maybe seek out help from a women's health physiotherapist. I gave birth to my second child via C-section 7 weeks ago, and I've put together this 25-minute, no equipment workout that's perfect for postpartum. Okay. So for our first move, we're gonna get down onto the floor. I want you to be a little bit mindful while you're doing this, as it's still early days. So come down onto your knees, and then come down onto your side and roll onto your back that way. We don't want to be doing reverse crunches this early in the game. So lying on the ground with your knees bent, you can place your hands on your hips with your fingertips just inside your hip bones. We're going to do a little bit of breathing exercises here, so just get comfortable for a minute or two. We're going to connect with our breath. So on your inhale, I want you to feel an expansion through your ribs and your belly. Your whole belly is expanding. We'll just focus on that inhale breath for the first few rounds here. Everything gets nice and big. You're expanding your ribs, expanding your belly, and also expanding your pelvic floor. So your pelvic floor will fall deeper into your body. We want the pelvic floor to relax on our inhale and lift with our exhale. So as you're exhaling now, focus on a really gentle lift of your pelvic floor into your body. So that's your pelvic floor is your vagina, your urethra, and your anus. You're thinking about lifting those parts up and in with the fingertips still on the hips. As you inhale, there's an expansion. And as you exhale, it's almost as if you're feeling like your hip bones are being pulled closer together. So we want to feel a little bit of activation in the muscles just underneath our fingers by our hip bones, as well as that really gentle lift of the pelvic floor into the body on the exhale. At this point, really early in the game, we just want to focus on the pelvic floor. So just a few more breaths here. Big inhale, expansion, and exhale, lift. So we'll get started with a little bit of a circuit here. We're gonna do 45 seconds on, 15 seconds of rest of 3 different movements. First one is knee drop. We can keep our hands on our hips here, and as we go, we're gonna drop the hip inhale, or the knee, and then exhale, bring the knee in. Inhale, other side, drop the knee. Exhale, bring it in. So that activation that we're hoping to feel underneath our fingers, we still want that in this move as well. We're working with our breath. Inhale, coming down to the side, and exhale, come up. It's normal to feel a little bit tight through your adductors, your inner thigh muscles here. Try not to let your whole body be pulled. It's not how deep the knee goes, but we're just going to the edge of our mobility here. And exhale, bring it in. Okay, we're doing dead bug here. We're gonna start with just the arms. So arms up. We're gonna inhale, bring the arms back behind you. Try to not release the core, and then exhale, come up. All right, let's go, 45 seconds. Inhale, coming back, and exhale, coming up. We're still expanding through the ribs and the belly on our inhale, and exhaling, lifting the pelvic floor in. This is the very beginning of dead bug, a really classic postpartum move. Before we start adding the load of our legs, we want to make sure that our core can manage the pressure of just our arms. Good. Inhale, reach back, and exhale, bring the arms up. Good. Next move, we can have our hands next to our bodies here. We're gonna do hip thrusts. So we're pushing through our heels, and we're gonna drive our bum up, trying to get the knees, hips, and shoulders in one straight line. All right, 45 seconds here, let's go. Squeeze, come up. Inhale down, exhale as you drive up. We want to strengthen our posterior chain, strengthen our glutes and our hamstrings as they help our body stabilize. When our core is weaker, it's even more important to have a strong posterior chain. Good, driving through your heels, come up as high as you can. Good, one more rep here. Good, and relax down. Hug the knees in for a second, just rock side to side. We're gonna do those 3 moves one more time. Good, we can do a little pelvic tuck here, create space under your spine, press your spine down onto the floor, and let's get right back into knee drops. So inhale, drop the knee down to the side, and then exhale, come back in. Inhale, knee comes down, exhale, come back in. Thinking about that core muscle here, your transverse abdominals, pulling your hip bones closer together towards the midline. We want to activate with our TA before we start working our obliques so that we build from the foundation up. Having strong obliques is great and important later on, but right now we want to focus on our foundations before we rely on other muscles that are probably already stronger. Good. Next one, getting set up for our dead bug arms. Kind of find a neutral spine position here so you can tuck the tailbone, and there should be a little bit of an arch there. Inhale, come back, and exhale, set the ribs down, bring the arms up. Good. So this is perfect for our first workout back. If you've been doing a few workouts and you want to add in more challenge, what you can do is lift the legs and then add in arms and legs at the same time. So it would be alternating arm and leg coming down and exhale, coming back in. Okay, that is the progression. I'm still really early days, so I'm just going to keep doing my arms. Exhale, coming up. Good, and last one, hip thrust, hands down next to you, heels driving into the floor, and we're gonna thrust up, squeeze your bum. Okay, you can kind of tuck your pelvis under at the bottom so that we're tucking our tailbone through our legs. We wanna try to get the hips up as high as we can. Inhale, come down, exhale, drive up. Try not to fully release at the bottom. Try to keep activity through the glutes. Come down, tap your bum to the floor, drive up. Still working with the breath. Exhale, coming up. Good, and time. Awesome. Roll to the side to come up, press through your arm, and stand up. All right, so let's get started for our main workout set. We're gonna start with the movement called Good Mornings. With your hands on your heads here, you're going to put your weight through your heels, slide your bum back. You wanna feel a little bit of a stretch through your bum. Squeeze your bum to come up to standing. Let's go here. 45 seconds on, 15 seconds of rest. We want to open up the back of our legs, Shift the hips back. There's really no bend in the knee, and squeeze your bum to come up. You can get a little bit of a pelvic tuck here at the top. Come back, activate through your glutes. Think about squeezing, connect, mind-muscle connection here. Good. Strong glutes, so important. Opening up the hamstrings is also really good. It's often a frequently tight spot, so let's work on getting a little bit of a stretch there. Feel that stretch and then connect and drive up. Good. All right, next move, we're coming down to our knees, so take a long lunge back, get onto both knees. We're going to come down, inhale, and exhale, squeeze your bum pelvic tuck here at the top as well. So we're coming down bum to heels, and then kneeling up. Good. So working with your breath here, you can choose how intense you go with how quick your tempo is. I'm going to take it nice and slow and really focus on the connection through my glutes. Also getting lots of good quad work here. Good. With your fingers on your hip bones and your thumbs coming back, it's a good way to focus on where your pelvis is, if we're tilting forward or back. At the top, we want a little bit of a pelvic tuck, and then we want to release that tuck and bring our bum back. Good. Good, one more rep. All right, come here into all fours position. We're gonna do a thread the needle next. So we're looking for our hand to come underneath, drop the shoulder to the floor, and then we're gonna come up and reach up towards the sky. Try not to shift your hips too much. All right, let's go. So we'll alternate each time. Reach up, hand down, shoulder down on the floor, and reach up. So we're getting lots of good rotation through the body, opening up through our obliques, and also getting a little bit of work through our arms and shoulders. While you're doing this, try not to let your shoulders come up like this. Set your shoulders back, reach through, and press up. All right, last move, walk your hands back. We're gonna come up to standing position and do some squats with the rotation. So here, coming down for a squat, inhale, exhale, come up. If that's feeling good, you can add in a rotation here at the top. We're not gonna rotate through the whole body, just through the core, okay? So get a little bit of twist through the core. Inhale down, exhale up. For your first few squats back, you can just go with the depth that feels good for you. Eventually, the goal is to get the bum below the knees with a squat, but still early days. You do what feels good for you. Again, working with our breath. Inhale as we come down, our pelvic floor relaxes. Exhale as you come up, pelvic floor lifts into the body. Good, we're gonna do 3 rounds of this circuit. Awesome, so for our first move of our second round, let's get into good mornings. Let's go hands on the head, shift the hips back, feel a stretch through your hamstrings, squeeze your bum to come up. We really wanna focus on feeling that nice elongation, that stretch through the back of the legs. You can pause for a second at the bottom if it feels good for you. And then squeeze your glutes, tuck your tailbone under at the top. We don't want that tucked tailbone through the movement. Obviously, we have to release as we press our glutes back. Squeeze and tuck at the top. Back stays nice and neutral, spine is neutral. We're not bending forward. Good. Next one, we're coming down to a kneeling position. So take a nice long lunge, come down to a tall kneeling. We can also manage how intense this movement is by how fast we do it. So if we go really nice and slow, it'll be slightly more challenging than if we're just kind of dropping, right? Because you're holding the heavier part of the movement for longer. So inhale, come down, exhale, squeeze up. Good. Squeeze your bum at the top. We can get that pelvic tuck and then release as you come down. When I'm doing glute work like this, I like to picture as I'm coming down my butt getting really big and then squeezing, clenching my bum up at the top. So it's having both ranges, the activation, but also a little bit of release. We don't want to be walking around all day with our butt tucked under or our glutes clenched. We want strong muscles that are active when we need them. All right, getting into all fours position, we're doing our thread the needle, alternating side to side. So here, reach through, tap the shoulder down, and let's go. Try not to shift the hips too much. Try to keep the midline of the body centered. Good. And replacing the hand right underneath where the shoulder is, keeping the shoulders tucked back and down. Good. Walk the hands back, come up to standing position. We're gonna do some squats with our rotation. You can have the feet in whatever position is comfortable for you. I like slightly wider than my shoulders with my toes pointed out at like 45 degrees. Inhale, come down, exhale, come up, and we're adding that rotation if it feels good. So for today, I'm not going all the way into a full rotation. I'm keeping my feet on the floor. Getting a little bit of rotation through the core, opening up the obliques. Again, we can think about the tempo of our movement. Inhale as we come down, exhale as we come up, and control your squat as you come down. We want to try to get our knees tracking over our center or our second toes. Good. One more round of that. So we'll begin again with our good mornings, with our feet underneath our hips, our hands on our heads, finding that stretch through the back of our legs. Let's go. Exhale, come up. Remember, the pelvic floor lift on the exhale is just really gentle. And if you're not feeling it connect, it's okay, keep working at it. It's like you're building new neural connections from your mind to your muscles. Sometimes it takes a little while, especially after going through pregnancy and childbirth. Good. Next one, coming down to our tall kneeling position. Good. I love this move. It's surprisingly difficult. You can do it adding weight. You can do it holding your baby. Inhale, come down. Exhale, squeeze up. So there's ways that we'll progress each of these moves as we get stronger, as we move through our postpartum period. Your body's still healing in so many ways. You have hormones that are going through your body, loosening ligaments still going on. It's important that things happen slowly right now because you don't want to just snap back and still have things kind of out of whack. We want it to be a slow, controlled process. So with these movements, we're just kind of guiding things in the way that we want them to go. Good. Next one, coming to all fours for our thread the needle. We can do a few little shoulder rolls here. And then let's get into it. Reach the arm through, drop the shoulder down onto the floor, press up. Good, alternate. Really reach your arm up towards the sky. You're trying to stack your arms one on top of the other so it's nice and straight. Good. Walking back, coming up for our squats. Good. You can do a couple little pelvic tucks here. Bring your pelvis back, tuck under, inhale back, tuck under. All right, let's get going for our squats. Up and rotate. Always working with that breath. Feeling like with your feet that you want to rip them apart on the mat. So we'll get a little bit more glute engagement as we think about ripping the feet apart. Good. Good job. Shake it out and let's get ready for a little bit of a cool down. All right, so let's get into our cool down. Come down onto the floor. We'll get into all fours position. Want your hands right underneath your shoulders and your knees underneath your hips. We're gonna do a little bit of cat-cow. So inhale, spread the collarbones, bring the shoulders back, tailbone up, belly down, and exhale, curl through. If you had a C-section, you can go nice and slow with this posture here. It is an important part of breaking down the scar tissue of your C-section, getting a little bit of stretch through that tissue, but you of course want to make sure that your incision has fully healed. Let's integrate the breath. So inhale as you drop the belly down, belly gets big, and exhale, curl through, pelvic floor rises in. Nice gentle rise. Good, we can push back into a down dog here, bum up, alternating, pressing heels down. And then in a still down dog posture, bring your heels down to the floor. Screw your shoulders onto your back so the soft part of your elbows comes forwards. And we're just gonna take a few breaths here in kind of a gravity-assisted posture for our pelvic floor. So inhale, pelvic floor relaxes. And exhale, pelvic floor rises, or in this position, falls into the body. A few more breaths. Belly nice and big, long exhale, pelvic floor rises. Good. Come forward, bring your knees down onto the floor, and from here we're gonna leave our bum up and walk our hands forward. This is so good for opening up through your chest and back, especially if you're breastfeeding or spending lots of time kind of hunched over carrying baby. So let's just take a few breaths here, again somewhat gravity assisted. Reaching the arms forward, but with the shoulders tucked back and down. Good. Walk your hands back into that all fours position again. Let's just do a couple of rolls through the body. And then other direction. And we can come down onto our sides. So with the knees bent here, 90 degrees, we're gonna have one arm underneath, kind of tuck the shoulder down, and then the other arm on top here. We're doing open book. We're trying to keep our knees and our hips stacked. So here, open up to the other side, get a little bit of rotation through our thoracic spine. Inhale here, and exhale as you open. Good, you can also do it elbow. trying not to release the hips, trying to keep the knees stacked. Let's do one more of these. Good, and then we'll swap over to the other side. Hips are stacked, knees are stacked, arms together, shoulder down, and let's go. Open up. Trying to keep the hips and knees stacked so all of the movement is coming from our spine and not our hips. Good, again coming to all fours. Take the knees nice and wide apart. We're gonna walk the hands forward and sink down into child's pose. Forehead can come down onto the mat. Just allow your body to melt, relax. Relax any tension that you're holding in your eyebrows, in your jaw, in your neck and shoulders. Allow your hips to sink down onto your heels. A few more breaths here. And on your next exhale, push yourself up, walk back, and we'll find a seated position. Let's just quickly roll our shoulders, roll our neck all the way around in the other direction. And we'll give our neck and shoulders a little bit of love here. So look over to the side and down, place your hand on your head, and we're opening up our levator scapula, muscle here that holds our shoulders up. We want to release our shoulder down. Turn the chin towards the shoulder. Good. Roll over to the other side, same thing, hand on head. We're not pulling with our hand, we're just releasing, putting the weight of our hand on our head. One more breath here. Good. Arms to the side. Let's just do a quick reach to the side. And other side. And that's it. You did it. Great job. Thanks so much for joining me in my workout today. I hope you feel as good as I do, and I look forward to you joining me for the next one.